So I think I can share my screen now. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, but your voice is echoing. Why is that? I don't know why.
I think it's the network.
Okay. So, today is day one, and this is the outline I created. So for today, we're going to create a standard web map, and the things we'll be working on there, we'll learn how to add data to QGIS, how to style data, basic styling, then get familiar with the interface.
Your voice is breaking, no?
My voice is breaking. Let me check the settings. Is it still breaking?
More like echoing itself.
It's echoing. Your voice is echoing. I don't know why.
It could be the network, actually. It could be the network.
Okay.
But you continue, sir. You can continue.
Okay. So, we are going to create a standard map today, and we are going to get familiar with the QGIS interface and some other skills that we are going to meet on the way as we are creating the standard map. We are going to solve them one after the other. So I have QGIS loaded on my system. I want to assume that you also have QGIS loaded on your system.
Yes,
right?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm going to start a new project because I already loaded this. I'll start a new project, new, so that we can start from scratch. I'm not going to save this. Scott. Okay, so here we have a new project, blank screen. Sorry, I set my screen to dark mode. So if you want to set it to dark mode also, you can go to the settings option at the top here, then options. Pick a few. Then under general, so here you can just, the UI theme, set it to night mapping. So then the canvas might still be gray. That is this place here, the working area might still be white on your screen. So if you want to set it to black also, so that it will run with the whole dark mode. So you come to the canvas and legend section here and change the background color to any color you want. So I can change it to white now, just for you to see what I'm talking about. Let me choose this. Then, okay. So this area will turn to white. Let's wait a little. I think it needs restart.
Okay.
Good. Then now the QGIS interface is in different parts. At the top here we have the menu, the top menu. Then here we have the tools that you can work with.
Hello.
Hello, I can hear you. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So at the top here, we have the top menu. Then we have these toolbars that contains different shortcuts to various tools. Then on the left here, we have the panel. We have the pane or panel. Then on the main area here, we have the canvas, which is where the major working area. Then at the bottom, we have some guides. So this one displays the coordinates where you are on the canvas. You can see as I'm moving my mouse on the canvas, it's changing to show me the location where I am on the canvas. Then here we have the scale, which tells you how zoomed in or zoomed out you are. Then we have these other tools, which we don't usually use. Then this one here, the renderer, the current projection which your project is using. So we'll talk more about projections later as we proceed. Okay, so let's start from the menu. At the top here, we have the projects, which is where you can open a new project, you can save it, and you can create a print layout, which we are going to work with later today. And you might exit QGIS from here. Then we have the edits, where you can edit features. We have the view, where you can change the look and feel of the software. We have the layer, you can add a new layer, remove a layer, and create a new layer from here. We have the settings, where you can change the configuration of your software. Plugins, this plugins menu is where you can add plugins to your software. So plugins help you to give you extra functionalities. So there are some things that you might want to do, and they are not supported by QGIS out of the box. So some developers have written these plugins to add extra functionality to QGIS. So we'll still work with some plugins later in the course. Then here we have the vector menu, which has different tools for manipulating vector data and for analyzing the vector data. We have the raster menu for working with raster data, database, which contains the DB manager if you want to work with different databases such as Geopackage, PostGIS, Spatial Light, Oracle Spatial. So you can use this to connect to a database, load data from the database, view what is the tables that you have in the database. So in this course, we are going to work with Geopackage because it's an open source database, and it's easy to work with. You can share it. It's a self-contained database, unlike PostGIS that requires a lot of setup. Then web, if you want to do anything with the web, maybe you want to export data to the web, or you want to load web maps to your project. So they will appear in the web menu. There are some plugins. When you install some plugins, they might add extra options under this menu. For example, there's a plugin that allows you to add web maps to your project. So once you install that plugin, you will see the option under the web section here. Then the mesh, for working with meshes. I've never worked with meshes before, actually. So it's a very niche tool. Then we have the processing menu, which contains the processing toolbox. The processing toolbox, which is all the tools that you can use for analysis in QGIS. They are inside this processing toolbox. So once you just click processing and select toolbox, you see it appear maybe on the left or on the right of your screen. Then we have the help. If you want to read the tutorial or see the documentation for the Python API or C++ API. Good. So all these menu items here, sometimes maybe there's something you want to do. Let's say you want to add a new layer. You need to go to layer, then go to create layer or add layer, then add vector layer. You can see that some of these options are nested deep inside the menu, and it might not be comfortable to be going into the menu every time to look for a particular tool you want to work with. So that's why there are some tools at the top here that are like shortcuts for quickly interacting with QGIS. So let's say, for example, this new map view here is for adding a new map to a print composer. So instead of coming here, you can just simply go to project, then new print layout. But coming to the menu and clicking here will take a lot of time. So that's why we have these tools here. And there are more than all this. You can add more. So for example, you can right click and you see the different toolbars here that you can add and that you can remove. Okay, so now let's go to the pane or the panels. So we have here, I have this multi-location zoom. This panel actually was added by a plugin. If I go to my plugins menu and if I see the installed plugins, the plugins I have installed, I have a lat long tools. This plugin, this is this plugin that added this panel for interacting with the plugin. So I'll close this since you have not gotten to that stage yet. So we have different panels. This one is the processing tools panel that contains different tools for geoprocessing. Then we have the layer styling panel, which allows you to style a raster layer or vector layer, any layer. So if you have any layer on your project, you use this to style it. You style it in this panel. Then we have the layers list. This panel contains the list of all layers that you have added to your project. Then we have the browser, which is similar to catalog in ArcGIS Pro or in ArcGIS. So this browser allows you to view all the different files that are available in your system or in a remote server. So for example, I can expand this section to navigate, to see my hard disk, all the files that I have in my hard disk. So let's say I want to go to my desktop. I want to add a file from my desktop. I can continue expanding different sections till I get to my desktop, and then I'll see different files that I have available there, and I can add them to my project. So there are also XYZ tiles. We'll talk about those later, and I'll explain how I got all these base maps. Now, I think then we have the canvas, which is the working area. So now that we have a general idea of how QGIS is, I think we can just start working. And as we start working, you understand these things better. So here's what I'm going to do. I'll walk through it, through the project, and then I'll share, after the lesson, I'll share the data set with you so that you can use that to practice. So that then tomorrow, you share, if you have any question while you're working, maybe today or tomorrow, later in the day, when you're working, if you have any question, you can just send me a message, or you can bring it to tomorrow's session, whichever is more convenient for you. So for the first data, this is the data I've gathered for day one. I'm suspecting that we'll need more than these files for today's work. So any file I had that we work on, I'll add it to this folder. So the first data I'm going to add is this shapefile. So we are going to be working with a different file formats. Here we have a shapefile and we have a geopackage file, GPKG. This .gpkg is a geopackage file. So now let's just talk a little about geopackage and shapefile. So geopackage is one of the formats for storing GIS data. I said a little about it before, that is a database. It's not just a file format, it's a database. And it is a self-contained database, meaning that you can just copy it on a flash drive. You can share it with people. You don't need to install it on a server or on a machine. So it's just a simple file. Now, this geopackage, one of the benefits of it is that as a database, you can store multiple tables inside it. And that means many layers can be stored inside one geopackage. And also, one of the good things is that you can work with it from the DB manager here. So let's use this DB manager to explore our geodatabase, this geopackage that we are, sorry, not geodatabase. Geodatabase is in ArcGIS Pro. So is ArcGIS equivalent or something similar to Geopackage. So let's use the DB manager to work with this Geopackage file. So I open the DB manager, then under the Geopackage section, if I expand it, you can see there's no connection presently. So I can right click on it and select new connection. So I want to connect to that Geopackage database. So I'll select the Geopackage database inside that folder. Then click on open. So now you see the Geopackage database is now available. Geopackage file or the database is now available under my Geopackage section. So you can see the name Nigeria_simplified is also available. Is now the same thing here. So you can expand this. So once we expand it, you can see the different tables that are available there. But for here, in this Geopackage, we have just a single table available here, and that is this Nigeria_simplified table. So we can inspect it here. So here we have the general information about the geodatabase and the Geopackage. We have the general information. We can see the file name and the address. Then if we select the table, we can see the type of data it is. You can see it is a table. Definitely supposed to be a table. Then it has just one row. That means there's only one feature inside it, and that is Nigeria. So because the table contains only Nigeria data. Then we can see the fields, that is the attributes that are available here. We have the ID, FID, which is supposed to be the primary key. Then we have the geom, which contains the geometry. So this geom column is what QGIS we use to draw the shape correctly on the canvas. If this geom column is not available, then it is just a normal Excel spreadsheet. There's nothing special about it. It's not a GIS data. Then we have the name and the abbreviation. These are the two attributes that are available. So now, if we go to table to view the table, the data that is in this Nigeria_simplified layer, we can see the FID. We can see the name of the feature. You know, if you remember, they said there's only one row in this table. So that is this single row. Then we can preview it. So you can see there's just one feature, that is Nigeria, and that is where we have just one row in our database because there's only one feature in this layer. So when you are working with databases, they call features rows, you understand? Then the attributes are called fields in database. So this is a bit confusing for many beginners in GIS because conventional data science or data analysts, when they say features, they mean these columns. What we call fields or attributes are what they call what we call features are what they call attributes or fields. You understand? And what they call features are what we call rows. So each of this row, we say this is a feature. This Nigeria is a feature on the map. You understand? But to them, feature means these characteristics, these attributes. But there's no need to get confused much. There's no need to bother oneself much about it. As you work with GIS and data science, later on you get you get used to these terms. So now we can add this to our canvas. Just right click on it and select add to canvas. Good. So you can see it here. It's now on our canvas. You can zoom in and zoom out to view it. So the next thing we can do is to go to the layers panel. So this layers panel is just like a table of contents showing all the different layers that you have in your projects. You understand? So for now, we have just one layer. If you can't see the layer panel, you can right click, just go to the toolbar, any empty area there, right click, and under panels, look for layers panel. So if I click it now, it is no more here. So if I want to add it back, I just right click and select layers panel. So here it is, contains all the layers that are available in my project. Now, the next thing is to load this shapefile, which contains the Nigeria states, the boundaries of all the Nigeria states. So a shapefile is different from a geopackage file in that geopackage is one file, it's a single file, but you can store multiple layers or multiple tables inside a single geopackage. But the opposite is what is available or what is obtainable in shapefile. In shapefile, the file has multiple parts. You can see we have the same file name, but different extensions for up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different extensions, but with the same name. And all these files must be together in the same folder. They must be available in the same folder, and they must have the same name for this file to work correctly. So if you change the name of any of them, or you delete any of them, or you share just one without the others, then the file might not work correctly, even though some of them are more important than the others. So let's just talk a little about them, the most important ones, at least that I can remember right now. This .shp is what contains the geometry. So it is the file that QGIS or any other GIS software will read to draw the feature correctly on the map, on the canvas. .prj contains the projection. So it's what the software will interpret to know how to plot the shape, where to place the shape, and which direction it's supposed to face. Then .dbf contains the attributes, like the fields, different attributes that the feature contains. So this SHX and CPG, I can't remember their functions right now, but they are also very important. So one way to add shapefile to a project is just to right click and sorry, not right click, just click and drag it to the canvas. So, and it has been added. You can see it contains the different states in Nigeria. It's the one at the top.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Did you highlight all the shape files?
No, just the SHP. Just the SHP. Let me remove it and add it again. Yes, the SHP. That's the major one there. Even though some people say that you can use the SHX, you can drag any of them, but I've never tried it. Okay, good. I tried the SHX too, and it worked. So you can drag the SHX too, but I'm not sure if you do it with PRJ, it's going to work. Okay, it didn't work. DBF didn't work. Okay, it worked for DBF. CPG, let's try it for CPG. It didn't work with CPG. So it worked for SHX, SHX, SHP, and DBF. So, but the SHP is the major one, is the most important of them. So I'll remove, I've added it too many times, so I'll remove this. Then another way to add data is to just go to layer, add layer, then add vector layer. So you just navigate, click here to navigate to the location of the file, select it, click open, and it's going to be added. So there are different ways. Another option is to just, at the top here, there's a toolbar that usually comes with QGIS. Yes, no, not this, not this. There's a toolbar that's supposed to be here. It used to be at the left here. Let me check it for it. I can't find it here. Okay, I think it's this database toolbar. Let's see. Oh, it's not the one. I can't find it right now. Okay, so another option is just to go to the browser and then you can navigate to the location of the file. You understand? Let's say you can just expand, continue expand it. You get to the location of the file and you add it to your canvas. Okay. So that is how to add data to QGIS. The next thing we can do is to inspect the data. So we can right click on this to open the attributes table. That is for the Nigeria. This is the Nigeria shapefile, Geopackage layer. So we see that there's only one attribute here. But for the state boundaries, let's check the attributes. Open attribute table. Good. So here we can see for each of the, we have how many features here? We have 37. So I think that includes Abuja. That's why we have 37 features here. So each row represents a state on this map here. And we can see the attributes that are stored for them. We have the geometry _T, because this file was gotten from a geodatabase in ArcGIS. That's why we have this geometry column here. Then we have the state code, 2-letter code of each state, the name of the state, the capital of the states. Then this global ID is not important to us. The source, that is who created this file. We have the geographic. I think this is the zone, whether it is northwest zone, northeast zone, south zone, southwest zone. Then we have the area, the shape length, and these other attributes. So all these attributes, this shape area, shape length, shape L1, shape A1 _1, all these attributes here that contain the shape and the length of the features, they are here because the data was created in ArcGIS. And when you created any data in ArcGIS, the shape, the length, and the area of the feature will be added automatically in ArcGIS. So that's why those things are there. But we can delete them if we don't need them. Okay. So those are the attributes that are available. And that means we can decide to style all to color the states, give them unique colors based on any of these attributes. So for example, we can say that QGIS should look at the states _name column, and every unique name it finds there should have a our meeting is going to end in 10 minutes. So I think we can say that it should add, for every unique state, it should give each of the unique values here a different color. You understand? So I think let's just stop this here, then we should create another meeting if you still have time. Do you still have time? Okay, so let's stop this here.